and welcome back to the Enlightened Path Podcast. I'm Stacey DeWitt. This is episode 3. So my intention in the beginnings of this podcast are to lay out some foundational sort of ideas, principles, sort of a framework, and you can decide if it fits for you, if it makes sense for you. You can take or leave any of it. I think everything that we hear and tune into coming in from the outside with awareness that that's not the truth unless we decide it is. So I think always when you're tuning into something, whether it's a podcast, reading a book, whatever it is, I don't claim to be presenting facts. I'm talking from my experience personally, professionally, and just sharing things that have made a really big difference for me. And I think we all just need to know that. We're all in this together, and we're in a world where we look around and there's no shortage of painful things and problems and all of that, but then there's also not a shortage of amazing, miraculous things, people, places, experiences. And I have found when I shifted from having a more limited cause-effect, black-white perception and perspective to I do create my own reality, and in this moment, this is my reality. I'm right here. I've got my animals in here. I'm in a home where I'm safe. I'm very, very blessed. And that's not always the case for everybody. And I so get that. But if we continue to look outside ourselves to decide what's going on, how do I feel, which we are going to need to do, we're human. But if we're doing that all the time, we're just running on a survival mode, automatic pilot. And we're not going to have the enjoyment and deeper meaning in our life that we could if we realize there's another perspective, that there's other possibilities, and particularly the possibilities of the ones that I don't know. I don't know all the amazing possibilities of what I could experience in my life tomorrow, next week, next year. And I don't spend time anymore thinking about what I want to come. I shouldn't say that. That's not entirely true. I'm reducing the amount of time I spend about what I want. Because wanting is an energy of I don't have it, which means I feel like what my current status is isn't good enough. And that's filled with judgment, self-doubt, feeling like I'm not doing good enough. And that comes in and out. That still comes in because my body will just get tense and anxious. And I go, oh, even though my mind's not running that anymore. Like it's not. I mean, there's a lot of focus, as a side note, there's a lot of focus on the mind, switch the mindset and all these things. And I feel like there's very much a neglect of feelings. Our feelings create our reality. And so if we use our mind, of course we do. What I mean by the feelings is that we will bury our feelings. So you might be aware of your feeling, and then, again, my last episode was talking about the story, being so aware, it's a problem because of the story. Feelings don't have to be a problem. So letting yourself feel. And the key is with loving awareness. And so as I continue to talk about how we create our perception of the world, and then do you see yourself as a co-creator, an active participant, a powerful being, or do you see yourself as more helpless and powerless and things are happening around you and to you? Understandable, right? Why with that second example? I felt that way a lot of the time for a lot of years, and at times I still can. But when you shift through stepping back and looking at a big picture perspective that includes, spirituality and the divine and creation, whatever you believe in, if you believe you're not alone and you're not here just creating your reality by yourself in isolation or separation, the separation is what creates suffering and feeling alone and not believing in our power. But I think starting at the ground floor, certainly having some daily practices, not in like a structured should type of energy. But whatever you do, having the awareness that you can experience like peace in any moment, even if you're struggling, even if you're in pain, even if you just ask a question, wow, this feels really hard right now. What would I like right now with what I'm feeling? And so a lot of times we just go to, I want to fix it. Fixing it, wanting to fix it perpetuates the problem. Do you notice the more you focus on what's wrong, the worse it gets or the longer it goes on? And it's also not about just ignoring it. It's like honoring the experience, the feelings in particular, inviting in whatever possibilities for shifting, not from a helpless perspective, but from a, all right, I guess I haven't learned what I need to yet from this challenging experience. If we're not aligned, believing that we are a powerful co-creator and that, we create everything. When I say co-creator, it's like we're creating actively all the time with God, divine, universe, whatever you want to call it. And we're a creator of this experience. That's out of our awareness all the time. And it doesn't feel good, probably when I say that to a lot of you, where it's like, well, why would I create this misery? And I asked myself that question so many times. I still do at times. When I get frustrated, difficulty with sleeping is a really rough thing. A lot of people experience that, and I certainly do. It's like, well, what needs attention so that I can finally just sleep easily? But when I ask that question from more like, fix it, I don't like this, I want it to stop, I want it to change, it won't change. It will not change. And we'll seek help, which we need to do sometimes. But seeking help, depending on what the help looks like, I can speak personally from my perspective, having, been a mental health therapist and working in the world of like diagnosis and stuff. I never did like the feeling of that. I have to use diagnoses if I do insurance billing, but it's what I love about coaching. I'm like, outside that box. And I don't like labels. I don't like, that I certainly have been defined by, I've got anxiety, whatever it is. Like, that's something I experience in my body. It's not who I am. And it was the saddest thing to me when I would meet women who came in for counseling and they're just like, this is just who I am, I'm broken, all these things, and it's so sad. And a lot of the things in the system, entities that are supposed to be helpful, are perpetuating that. And I think it's because people don't know what to do. That's what we've been trained. We've been fed all of this, I'd say misinformation, whether it's intentional or not, that we're supposed to make the pain go away and, take something to stop it. And that's just bury it down. Burying it down does not make it go away. I've had so many people tell me with like physical imbalances in the body and even emotions coming up, and people say, wow, I thought I dealt with this trauma or whatever it was. And they're like, why is it coming up now? I'm like, well, from what I've learned, mind, body, soul, it's all connected, and it will build up. Unprocessed emotions, and we don't have to go digging. It's just a matter of organically, when you have a reaction, feeling come up about something in your life, allowing it to be there, give it just love and attention without the story. And then we actually can release it. So we don't keep holding it in, because all that's energy. Everything's energy. When your body's out of balance, you have symptoms, it's stuck energy, and it doesn't change overnight all the time. Right? We want a quick fix, and there are some tools out there. The little EFT tapping tool that I use can bring some pretty quick relief, but we've got layers and layers of stored emotions stuffed down. And again, we do not have to go and look at and feel every one of those necessarily to clear and help bring balance back to the body. But our true nature, is having an amazing power and a very unique, special experience to be in this world at this time. And it does include discomfort, but we're also here to experience joy and fulfillment and happiness. If you can desire it, when you think about what you would like to experience, you're having that thought and that idea for a reason, especially if it's something that continues, right, over time. Things that like sustain over time. Like people who are authors and they were just so called to write a book. It wasn't just a fleeting thought in one moment. They were just driven towards that. And for me, that's this expression that I do here in video podcasts and whatnot. It's like, it's just time to not be quiet anymore, because that's part of my path, because I was just so quiet, couldn't step out into any kind of spotlight, so to speak. Like, oh my gosh, what if I'm judged and criticized? And I will be. People don't need to agree with me. It's not what it's about. I'm not trying to get everybody to change their mind by listening to what I have to say. It comes from a passionate, compassionate place within me, where we are living in such a unique time in the world, maybe even in the universe, where people are awakening to patterns, systems. They don't want to keep just surviving, being in a job just for a paycheck because we don't know another way. It's like being enslaved, like it's just like a powerless, helpless, and however that all got to be the way it is, it doesn't have to be that way. We just don't know otherwise. And so that brings me back to that. I don't know. What are all the amazing possibilities for me that I haven't experienced yet? I don't know. What more is there than what I can see right now in front of me? I don't know. If we create our reality, there's lots of references to, if you've seen the movie The Matrix, it's like, wow, the reality as we know it probably is not it. But we're so used to using our eyes and what we feel, and like this feels so solid. But quantum physics teaches, boy, if you look under a microscope, way deep down, right? It's like, this is not a solid form. It's energy. It's just moving more slowly. And so some of these ideas, concepts have really opened up my mind. And I'll link that to expectations. Expectations are going to be related to what you already know and what you already want, and therefore expect to experience and have in your life. That shuts you off from all the unlimited possibilities. It's just so limiting to our experience as a human being, as a soul in a physical body, here on a journey to literally expand. If you want more expansion and you feel stuck, I just invite you to, listen with your ears right now, but then let your consciousness take in whatever it resonates with, and maybe it won't at all right now, maybe it will later. It was not an overnight thing for me, probably not an overnight thing for anyone, but the process of like awakening, when I say that, it's like awakening to the consciousness that there's more to everything than what I know with my mind, with my memories. What we have experienced, what we feel, it all matters. But decide, do you want it to define you? It's all wrapped up in our identity. If you're playing the game of being human in the way we've been taught, with cause, effect, black, white, have to see it to believe it, need to build and measure it, that's how most humans live. But the ones who experience, from what I hear and people that I know, follow, connect with, they're experiencing amazing things way outside these boxes. Money is just dropping into their accounts. They're not working hard for it. They're not running their life by, can I afford this? They're no longer in relationships where they feel that they have to put everybody else first and get approval. And that was me for so many years. Now, I don't go, just about most of the time, I don't go anywhere I don't want to go. If I have plans, I'm tired, I'm not feeling it, I'm not going to go. Depends on the situation, depends on the person that it involves. But if I can't show up as the best, most connected version of me, where I'm going to be there for other people and myself, I'm not helping myself or the other people or person by being there. My physical body being there, what does that even mean? And I'm not responsible for making other people feel okay. I no longer accept that responsibility that I thought I had and was supposed to have. See, a lot of us empath, sensitive people, we feel a lot of the energy and emotions of people around us, and so we don't like that. And so it's like, for me, it was subconscious till I knew. It was out of my awareness that, first of all, I was creating it, and I also had to have a choice. And it's not about numbing and not feeling it. There are ways, I think options for, tools and self-care and things like that. But it all starts with awareness. Without awareness, we don't have power. We're just robotic on automatic pilot. And so waking up is about literally coming into the moment, creating a few minutes, quiet space. Otherwise, you're looking outside yourself and you're lost and disconnected, probably a lot of the time. And I can say that as well. I'm not talking down to anybody. That is part of being human. But if you're awakening into you are more than human, then you are meant to expand in a way that's unique for you, at a pace that's unique for you. But there's no going back once you start awakening. And some people I've heard have really rapid, really intense spiritual awakenings. I'm like, I'm certainly not trying to call that in. I want to do what my body accepts for the time. Accepting all that I experience with no shoulds. I hardly plan my day anymore. If I'm meeting with clients, that's on my book, yep. Showing up and being there, unless I'm really not feeling well. If I can't show up and be there and do what I'm here to do and all that, then I will cancel, because I don't want, that's the way I show appreciation for myself and others. Your time, my time, all that. But I won't do shoulds anymore. I don't have to-do lists anymore. I don't run my business that way either. It's a completely I almost said upside down, but not in a bad way. Following energy and my power as a creator, but not creating from this. What should I do now? There's so much traditional stuff out there about how to run a business and marketing, and it's like it's going from this is what you're supposed to do. And that can work for some people. It can. It didn't work for me. Tried it for years, trying to fit myself into some box. And I kept coming out with, what's wrong with me? Why can't I have some success? I have had successes, but when I'm measuring what I want versus what I'm seeing, and I'm not seeing it, or wasn't seeing it. And I can see now, first of all, there's a purpose in all of it. I'm creating it. There's a reason I'm experiencing that. All has a purpose. And when the time frame doesn't work out for me, that I'm not having whatever I want, it's because of that energy. Some version of, I'm getting in my own way. I don't even like to look at it as blocks and things have to be cleared and mindset work. Not even tuning into the energy of that anymore. I'm tuning into the energy of, I'm here for my own unique experience. I'm not going to look at other models. I'm not going to try to fit and make sense of everything anymore. I'm going to do my best to feel with loving awareness. Follow what feels inspiring and good to me. Have an open heart. Being kind and compassionate. Whenever I'm going to be, in contact with someone, and if not, and I'm not feeling it, do my own thing. Hang out with my dogs. That's like the best thing for me. Every single day I've got a little puppy snoring in the background. Just, I can't imagine my life if I hadn't grown up with dogs. I've had dogs almost 100% of the time that I've been alive, whenever I can. Whatever it is for you, you can bring it into your life. You can choose it, but choose it from an aligned, connected place. Not from a have to, or I won't be okay unless I do. So thank you for tuning in. It's my pleasure to share with you. And please post any comments, questions, and topics of interest that you have related to this topic. And I'd be happy to speak to them in future podcasts. Thanks so much.